and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Avery and today's video is going to be a budget check-in for the month of October. So if you watched my October budget with me, you know that I am trying my very best, very best, or at least half of my best to do a low spend October. So what that means is I'm trying to cut back primarily on my eating out and on my groceries and on my silly spending. So like clothing, concert tickets, things like that. And let me tell you, once you start spending a lot of money, you really don't want to stop. I love spending money apparently, but so I feel like I've just been sitting here twiddling my thumbs, looking at the Amazon Prime Day deals and being like, it would be really nice to buy a bunch of things that I've been wanting to buy for a while, but I don't have any money, so I'm not going to do that. So here I am checking in on my budget to prove to you guys that I am trying to not spend any money. So I'm using the budgeting software YNAB, or You Need a Budget. There's a link down below if you want to try a free trial. But let's just get into it. This specifically is the report section of YNAB, and I filtered it to where we're looking at all categories from October of 2023. Now, you might say to yourself, you have to spend money on rent, so why would you look at that when you're looking at your spending? Just because I want to get an overall picture on how much I've spent in the entirety of the month. And then at the end, we can filter out certain things and look a little deeper. So all categories, I've spent $1,444.37 this month. So it's October 10th when I'm filming this, so we're basically 1/3 of the way through the month. So a lot of my larger expenses come out at the beginning of the month, like rent. That might just be my largest expense. I don't really have any other big expenses that I can think of. Everything else is just like death by 1,000 paper cuts, death by 1,000 microtransactions, it feels like. But let's go ahead and just break it all down. So looking here, I spent $687.50 on housing. This is pretty straightforward. The vast majority of this went to rent. $15 went into household, and basically I bought paper towels and laundry detergent, so that's where that $15 came from. I split the cost with my boyfriend, so that's why it's only $15, because how do you only spend $15 on laundry detergent, paper towels? I feel like that's at least $30 nowadays. Moving on from that, so here's a good example. Like, I spent $300 on my student loans, and there will be a debt payoff update, just going over how much I've paid off so far in my debt-free journey. I'm thinking about doing those monthly. That being said, I did make a payment this month of $300, so it does count as an expense in YNAB because it's money going out of my budget. But in general, I don't know if most people would consider this spending, at least in the sense of like a low spend month, because you really are just trying to cut down on spending on silly things so you can put more money towards your financial goals, such as debt payoff. But I did spend $300 on student loans. Focus on now. Okay, so this is kind of a catch-all category, just things that I'm currently focusing on, if that wasn't obvious. So I spent $212.21 this month on my pet Cece, on my dog Cece. She is a 4-month-old Shih Tzu, and she is going through all of the vaccinations, wellness exams, whatever it is that they do every single time we take her to the vet, which is about once a month, although she has to go back again at the end of this month, so I know that's just going to cost me more money. And then after this, she's going to get spayed, I think it is. She's a female dog, so spayed in December perhaps. So that's going to be more money. All that to be said, I've been spending a lot of money, like startup costs, on getting a new pet or a first-time pet owner. But yeah, this covered some vaccinations like canine influenza, distemper, parvo, a wellness exam, flea and tick. I think they trimmed her nails, lots of things like that. And it really adds up over time. I do have pet insurance, but it doesn't cover sort of like wellness, preventative, and vaccinations and spay and neuter. So it really covers like if she has catastrophic illness or accident. So that's kind of a bummer. They do have like wellness plans, but they what's the word? Oh, I'm so far into it now. Like, she's almost done, I think, with all these big vaccinations. So we just have the spay left. So I'm like, I don't think it's worth it to start it up now. So yeah, we've just been paying for it out of pocket. I really want to do like a video or an Instagram post on how much I've spent on my dog because it has been a lot of money. Just to give an idea on how much it costs to get your first pet or your first dog at least. I feel like a cat would not cost nearly as much. Something else I wanted to say is I've been really thinking about getting a Peloton bike, and that's another reason why I've been struggling. Not struggling, but I've been very tempted so far in the month of October to spend money, especially money that I haven't allocated towards that goal or towards that like wish list item. I don't know. Like, I don't have a category in my budget that says Peloton bike. Here's my future Peloton. So I really don't have the money I can like scoot over to there. So like, why am I thinking so hard and long about trying to I want to buy one because I use a spin membership and I like a spin studio and I like it, but I'm kind of thinking like in the long run it might make more sense to have a Peloton and then I can just pay the Peloton like class membership of $45 a month as opposed to $120 a month on a spin studio. I don't know. But then you still have the upfront cost of buying a bike, which right now is on sale through Amazon Prime Day for $1,095. But even if it's not, even if like Prime Day comes and goes, because I'm not going to buy it, like even if I wanted to save up, I could get a refurbished bike for about $1,100. So I'm still thinking about it. But like what I'm trying really hard to do is to just like, if I want to buy it, do so intentionally. Don't do it on impulse. So what that means, like if I really want this over the next 3 to 5 months, I need to put money aside when I get paid towards this financial goal or this financial like want and pay for the Peloton bike. Yeah. So that's I just want to spend money. I just want to spend money, but I'm holding on for dear life. So yeah, moving on. I have spent on fun and spending. So here's some spending that I probably didn't need to do. I spent $150 on health, beauty, and clothing. I actually split this cost partially with my boyfriend, but basically I went to Athleta. It's a like athletics clothing brand, but they have stores in my town or my city. So I was buying some new clothes there because I just wanted them. And that's a terrible reason. Like, did I really need them? Was I really working out enough to justify them? But I wanted them because I just feel like all of my clothes are so old. Like, I feel like this is a running motif on my channel. Like, everything is so old. But that's probably not true. Like, I've spent enough money at this point where I have new stuff. But nothing fits anymore. Like, I have gained weight. So, like, if nothing fits, then maybe I need new clothes. Okay, so the cycle continues, I guess. All that to be said, I spent $150 on this, but at least I had the money set aside in a sinking fund. So I wasn't rearranging or getting stressed out with my budget to spend this money. So it's not like I'm overspending. I'm just spending money I already put aside. Okay. That's my excuse for that. So then for fun money, I spent $35.03. Let's see what I even bought. I had a Patreon membership. I bought an Amazon Kindle daily deal for a book I wanted to read. I went to a concert and I ended up categorizing this as fun money as opposed to dining out because it's related to me more to like a fun event. So I got a drink at the concert, so that was $14. And then I also bought a pretzel, which by the way was terrible. Don't recommend it. I already ate. I did not need another pretzel for $6. So instead of putting that in dining out, I put it in fun money because to me, going to a concert is something you do for fun. So anything related to it goes under fun money. You see what I'm saying? And then I had Good Notes, which is an app on my iPad, basically for like notebook. I'm not, like digital planning. That's what it is. So I had to renew that because they came up with a new version of the app, and I discovered that it costs money. They discontinued the old app, so you can no longer use the app unless you upgrade to the new version, which costs money. And the options were like $10 for a year or $30 for a lifetime membership. But I just got this iPad like 6 months ago, and I didn't realize that they were gonna. I don't know if this is a thing or how often they do this, but it did not seem worth it to spend for the lifetime of $30, because to me, they were just going to come out with a new version, discontinue this one, and make me pay another $30. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, I bet in a year they'll have another new version, so I'm gonna hedge my bets here and just spend $10 on it. So that cost me $10.74. Moving on from that, food. Okay, so I am 1/3 of the way through the month, and I've already spent $118.43. I don't know. I'm trying. It's so hard. I feel like in my city, there's not a lot to do besides to eat, like go to restaurants or to go drinking. I don't really go drinking, so like I go eating, I guess. So it's kind of hard to like cut back on dining out if your hobby more or less is going out to eat. Maybe I need a different hobby, but that's kind of where I'm at currently, or why I'm trying to justify why I always spend so much money on dining out. But I know that a lot of my dining out is more so emotional spending, so I really should probably just rein it in. Like, girl, just find a different emotion, find a different way of dealing with things. But that being said, so far I've spent $64.70. So I went to a coffee shop. I had Chipotle on the day of the concert. I was pretty proud of this because we did not go to a restaurant. We just went to a Chipotle. So it cost less than $10. Went to a Raising Cane's. I got a bagel at Panera Bread when I went into the office. I spent $5.99 yesterday on Dairy Queen. That was bad. I shouldn't have done that. But then on October 7th, I also spent $25 at Starbucks. And this is not something I normally do, but I was trying to think, like, how can I work smarter? Another thing I was kind of getting tired of was I was spending a lot of $5 transactions. So, like, I don't really spend a ton of money in each go, but it adds up over time. And it's really annoying if you manually track all of your expenses, it's very, very annoying to have to, like, account for that every single time. And I know you're just thinking, like, okay, so don't spend the money, and then you don't have to track it, which you think that would be, like, what I would do. But instead, I was like, oh, instead of, like, using my credit card on the Starbucks app when I order drinks, I'll reload a gift card for $25, and then I can just use that throughout the month. So then I don't have to have a bunch of $5 transactions from Starbucks that I have to log. And it also got confusing, like if I got lazy with tracking my expenses and I had to go back and like log 3 Starbucks transactions for like $5.25. I was getting really struggling with like reconciling my budget because I would miss transactions because I was just being lazy. And I would like add in a couple, but I wouldn't realize it's like 3 instead of 2. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that is why I ended up reloading my Starbucks gift card on the app for $25. I'm hoping that curbs back on other coffee shop spending, but we will see, because then you run into the issue with the Starbucks app, which is also why I don't like reloading the gift card, is that if you have like $4 left and you want to buy a drink for $5, they want you to reload it for at least $15. Like, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just want to get the drink. I'm just going on and on, but like they don't want that because Starbucks is essentially a bank. Go watch a YouTube video on that if you're interested. Moving on. Health and fitness, okay, pretty straightforward. I spent $70 on an auto payment for a medical bill that I have. So that came out automatically on the 1st. That's pretty straightforward. And then transportation, I've bought gas once this month, hoping I only have to buy twice. But I know I'm going to be doing a little bit of more traveling than I normally do. All that to be said, I might have 3 fill-ups this month instead of 2, so if that's the case, I'm going to definitely go over on my transportation budget. But for now, I've only spent just under $40. And then subscriptions, I've had just my Apple subscriptions come out. So I have Apple Care for my phone and for my iPad, so $14.58. So that is how I've spent $1,444.37 so far for the month of October. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps out my channel. Hoping this keeps me accountable for the rest of the month. I will check in at least twice more. I was gonna do it weekly, but we'll just see how I do it, okay? If you want to see more budgeting content and stick around for my low spend month, you can subscribe. And otherwise, I will see you all in the next one. Bye now.